principle. You know, sometimes when you're a leader, you have to do things to avoid a real danger that might come down the curve.
Calls from within, however, for new leaders of a party in D.C. with now limited power under Republican control.
The American people are fed up with the old guard. There needs to be a renewal.
This weekend out west,
if the people of America are going to stand up to Trumpism,
tens of thousands gathered for the largest opposition rallies yet against Trump's overhauls in Washington.
We are witnessing an oligarchy in America.
This as the Trump administration today, according to the Venezuelan government, is set to deport Venezuelan immigrants by flight directly back to Venezuela. A federal judge is preparing to rule on whether the administration violated court orders by sending hundreds of Venezuelans last week to an El Salvador prison, despite questions of whether those deported were members of the gang targeted by ICE, including this man, his lawyer providing his first name as Andre, telling MSNBC's Rachel Maddow he was only an asylum seeker and has no criminal record.
Our client has been forcibly removed and disappeared.
The White House insists it intends to proceed with mass deportations.
We're going to continue to arrest public safety threats and national security threats.
The president this week saying he will comply by the judge's orders.
Judges would you defy a court order? Because we all know that was our...
I never did defy a court order.
And you wouldn't in the future?
No, you can't do that. However, we have bad judges.
Vaughn Hilliard is joining us now. And Vaughn, also tonight, some new pushback to a high-profile trip to Greenland by the Second Lady, right?
Right, Hallie, and we're now told that National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and Energy Secretary Chris Wright will also join the Second Lady. But the Prime Minister of Greenland is already expressing anger tonight, saying the U.S. delegation's trip is not just a harmless visit, but a direct provocation to make Americans believe annexation is possible when it's not. Hallie?
Vaughn Hilliard at the White House tonight. Thank you. Canada's new prime minister taking on President Trump's trade war. Mark Carney now calling a snap election next month, saying Canadians face the most significant crisis of their lifetimes because of President Trump's tariff threat and his repeated suggestions he wants Canada to become the 51st state. Overseas, Russia launching a massive drone attack ahead of ceasefire talks. Ukrainian officials say strikes from nearly 150 Russian drones killed at least 6 people. Meanwhile, Russia says it shot down nearly 60 Ukrainian drones. The attacks happened just hours before U.S. officials met with Ukrainian negotiators in Saudi Arabia today. Their meeting with the Russian negotiators is set for tomorrow. New developments tonight in that deadly mass shooting at a New Mexico park, with police now making multiple arrests. Camila Bernal has the latest.
3 teens killed in the chaos when an unsanctioned car show in Las Cruces, New Mexico, ended in gunfire Friday night. A fight between 2 groups escalating. People running for their lives. And tonight, police announcing the arrest of 3 juveniles and 20-year-old Tomas Rivas.
How did you track down these suspects?
I have to give kudos to my team. They did a phenomenal job, especially with how complicated the scene was in this investigation, all the moving parts. They were able to take witness statements along with some video that we either got on scene or was provided by the community.
Meanwhile, a community mourning the tragic loss of 3 teenagers. 16-year-old Andrew Madrid loved playing baseball. 18-year-old Jason Gomez seen here in this family video. And 19-year-old Dominic Estrada went to the church led by Pastor Carlos Ivan Alvarez.
It has been a devastating weekend for our community. Right now, it's time to bring strength and comfort to hurting people.
A community now grappling with how to move forward after this senseless act. Camila Bernal, NBC News.
Some heartbreaking news out of the sports world tonight. Former New York Yankees star Brett Gardner revealing his 14-year-old son, Miller, died in his sleep unexpectedly Friday after getting sick on vacation. Gardner and his wife shared that several other family members on the trip also became sick, saying they have so many questions and so few answers right now. Also tonight, a 12-year-old girl in Connecticut is now facing hate crime charges, accused of attacking 2 Muslim students. Maya Eaglin reports.
At
this middle school in Waterbury, Connecticut, students and staff on edge after a fight that left twin 7th graders, both Muslims, injured, and a 12-year-old girl charged with a hate crime.
Well, it's horrific.
Farhan Memon is the chairman of Connecticut's Council on American Islamic Relations and has been in touch with the family of the victims.
How are those two girls doing today?
Well, it took them 2 weeks to get back to school because there's lots of fear about going back to the same building in which they were attacked. But they went back to school last week.
Memon says the twins had just immigrated from Egypt and were wearing hijabs during the alleged attack. One suffered bruises to her face, a black eye, and bloody nose. Her sister cut on the neck. An investigation by the Waterbury, Connecticut police found that the March 3rd attack on the student was motivated by religion and or ethnicity, meeting the legal definition of a hate crime. Officials say they charged one 12-year-old with intimidation based on bigotry and bias, and another 13-year-old student was disciplined for their involvement. The school now putting an enhanced safety plan in place, providing the victims with adult monitors and peers to help them navigate their school days.
Do you know if there's been any sort of apology or reconciliation between the girls?
No apology has been made from the attackers to the twin girls who were victimized in this Islamophobic bullying incident, nor has there been any contact between the families.
The community still processing the act of violence and hoping for a more inclusive future. Maya Eklund, NBC News.
Still ahead for us tonight, March Madness living up to its name. The biggest upsets and busted brackets heading into the Sweet 16.